With the sun shining brightly, I hopped on outside to do some drawing in the second to last page in my sketchbook because the page before that had some marker bleed through and nobody wants to see that. With 5 random art supplies in my arsenal, I set out to create some colorful drawings. Now, naturally drawing outside creates a whole new list of problems, so throughout this video we'll find out, is the power of the paperclip strong enough to defeat the wind? We'll see. But enough of that. Let's get into the actual drawing here. I had 3 brush pen markers with me, a fineliner marker, and a gel pen. And I started out with sketching with this blue gel pen. And the first thing I was thinking was, I was just kind of feeling like drawing a character with a hat. At the beginning, I was just kind of letting whatever ideas come. And I started off with kind of drawing a cowboy looking hat. But then I thought, what if I combine that hat with an ushanka? So that's what I was trying to do here. Of course, as I'm sure no one's surprised at this, that idea had some errors to it, and it ended up just looking like the character had short hair, wearing a hat. So I went with that. Sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches. I finished doing some of the sketching with the blue pen, so I decided to bring out some of the other colors to really punch out those details. The neon yellow color to add some light and some stripes to the hat. And then the orange pen to punch out those lines that I couldn't quite get with the blue gel pen since it's a little harder to control. And then I brought out the pink marker and I started finelining out a weirdly cut coat. I don't know, it was fun to draw. But I noticed the fine line of a pink marker was fine the first day, as you can see. But later on, when we get further down in the video, it was different, and you'll see what I mean. But I really enjoyed the first sketch, so I just decided to mirror that first sketch, just draw it again, but bring it out more and make it a full body, you know, a little sharper. So I brought back out that blue gel pen and just started sketching away, trying to bring that first sketch to life, just even more so. As I was drawing, I was starting to be really bothered by this harsh shadow that was being cast. I thought, I've filmed outside before. I haven't had this problem. What's different? Let's just say, if you were stranded in the woods and you asked me to be the compass, you would be lost in the woods for a while. I realized I was facing against the sun, so I had to pick up my chair, move it around, and face the sun. That way the shadow was pointing, you wouldn't see it on camera. Isn't that so much nicer? Yeah. We have now reached the point where the battle of the wind begins. Because of this, at this point, I had to grab a paperclip. You can't see it, it's in the top left corner of the page. Let's just say it wasn't enough. So, everyone, get your charts out. We're gonna start doing a tally of who's really winning this battle. The wind or me? Hey! Anyways, I was totally winning against the wind, but I started getting out the pink and outlining the coat, decided to give it those weird pointy shoulders. I don't know why I like to do that for coats. I ended up giving her these really odd cufflinks. I don't know, they're fun. Be inconvenient if you were trying to grab stuff. I mean, I would just imagine that would get caught in so many doors if she were closing them. Yeah. Well, that sound effect wasn't right. Well, the battle of the wind comes to a screeching halt around here because I added that paper clip over there. Well, I didn't add it. I moved it from the top left corner down to the middle because the wind was still winning. But don't worry, guys. I will win in the end. I'm determined. It will be me. I mean, I just kind of need this victory because this hand wasn't really a victory for me, so I need something to make up for it. I don't know what it is. Sometimes when I draw hands on hips, it's fine. And then other times, it's like that. We're just, I don't even know. I mean, it looks like she's trying to impersonate a spider with her hand, and she's probably angling her wrist in a very uncomfortable position. Yes, now comes my favorite part. Adding in the yellow. Let's spice this up a bit. In a world where neon yellow is the only point of light, or more accurately, in a world where I try to overcompensate for the fact that I put a really bright yellow where I didn't want it to be. Yeah, when you lay down that yellow, at first it takes a second to start to illuminate, so to speak. So at first I put it on the skin thinking, okay, I'll make it kind of a nice bright yellow. And then it just started to get brighter and brighter. And that was problematic for me. But don't worry, I end up adding a lot of layers and stuff, and it's not as harsh on the eyes. Phew! Now I'm adding in the pink onto the coat. And this is where it starts to look nice. I intentionally spaced it out where it's almost kind of, I don't know, I just left those white gaps for like folds and points of light and stuff, but it creates a nice dimension. And then later on, I'll bring out the purple marker and I'll just start adding some lines over it and polka dots. It starts to look really girly. It's great. I also used the purple to start adding some little details onto the hat and also going over, once again, some more lines on the face. And I think that actually kind of helped ease out the really bright yellow by adding such a darker color in comparison. So that way it was just, I don't know, because the blue and the blue and orange next to the yellow just made it seem even brighter, but once I added that darker color, it started to kind of control it so your eyes knew where to kind of focus in, so it wasn't so loud. Yeah, so I was very relieved that I also brought along that purple. I ended up kind of picking my top three favorite colors: yellow, purple, orange. So, I mean, it's kind of just biased of me to say that I really liked the color scheme of everything I drew here in this video, but, I mean, I do like the color scheme. I also added some hatching in on the coat along with touching up the lines, and then, you know, what you'll see in in a couple seconds. Wait for it. Yes, now, polka dots. There we go. Yeah. And then I brought back the pink and started going over the hair. And this is when it starts to pull in even more, because I added in the pink and then off camera I added some orange with the pink, and it created almost a reddish orange color. And then that yellow was even less distracting. But this part, everybody hold your breath. It's where you have to get those really intricate lines, and I was close. I almost got everything except for around there. Hey, nobody's perfect, right? Nobody can really draw a perfectly straight line. I mean, come on. We're only human. Yeah, I really wanted to just outline those yellow lines part of her outfit. I just felt like it would create a better pattern and make it just a little more evident. I began filling in the purple part of the outfit, but then I had to go. So we're on to the next day. It was partly cloudy, but still relatively sunny. And, you know, it was nice out, so I just got right back into it, starting exactly where I left off, filling in the purple aspect of the outfit. And I intentionally kind of stroked the pen in a way that would create some dry lines, because I didn't want it fully purple. I wanted there to be some aspects of it that were almost white, but with like dry, scratchy purple effect look. Wow, that made no sense. But yeah, and then drawing some more details, adding blue gel pen, and then it's around here. I knew once I did the hair that reddish orange color that I wanted to incorporate that color one more time in the outfit, and I was at a loss of what I was gonna do. and I needed some other contrasting color, and I didn't want it to be blue when I got down to like the pants and the boots. So it was a no-brainer. That reddish orange makes a return. But I was starting to draw the detail over on the pants, and I didn't really like what I was doing. So in my attempt to fix it, I actually came up with a different pattern that I really liked. So you'll see me go over that with that soon. But I also didn't, as you can tell, just fill it with that red color. I also had like just some stripes that were more orange in there. But once I added the details over it, it almost created like a lighting effect, kind of like what you would see with, the only thing I can think of is like a glass mosaic. I don't know if that's quite the way to put it. That's just what it makes me think of. But yeah, I love how vivid those colors are, especially like the orange and yellow. I mean, look at that. That's really nice. But yeah, and then just slightly blending those. I mean, they are really contrasting colors, so I can't just blend them easily together like that, but just to blend them enough that once I go over them with the details, they really don't look like these awkward pant stripes. So yeah, pays to make mistakes, because then you end up coming up with stuff like this, I guess. Now I'm just finishing it off with the boots and some details in the, well, behind the character. And then I was all done with filling out the character inspired off of that first little doodle there. So then I was kind of like, well, what do I draw next? I kind of want to fill the whole page, keep it cohesive, so to speak. And so I just started sketching out a head because I was like, well, it worked the first time. Let's just, draw another head and see what it sparks. Didn't really spark much of anything. I mean, it's there, it's a drawing, it's a face, it's fine. I mean, the rest of the drawings following this makes this one, in my opinion, I felt like this one then looked a lot better than I felt about it that day once I got to the next couple of drawings. But I mean, I can't complain. It's fine. I got to draw. That's what I'm most pleased about. So yeah, just watch as I fill in this drawing portrait of a dude with a mustache. Yeah. That's all. Then at this point, I start to go over some of the lines again. I especially wanted to go over the eyes because they weren't quite proportionate yet. I was well aware of it. So, but this time going over it, because, I didn't sketch with the blue gel pen, sketch with orange. So I went over it with the pinkish purple tone, and then I added the yellow over it. But this I wasn't as bugged by adding the yellow over it. I felt like it kind of pulled him out of the page, just made his face look a little more three-dimensional. So this, you won't see me trying to overcompensate for the yellow or anything like that. Last of all, I bring out that purple marker and I start to punch out just the last remaining lines that I really wanted to be more evident. I kind of went over the hair there, and it created a nice, almost blue look. It was interesting how arranging the colors in a different way that the purple ended up looking blue next to and on top of some colors. But I finished up the male head, and then I'm on to day 3 now. And this day, I thought it was going to be sunny, but it was cloudy. And I was just kind of struggling to rack my brain of how to finish filling this sketchbook spread. So, just tapping my fingers, and then, I start drawing in. Well, the first day I was doing the drawing and I was drawing the girl, I felt like she kind of looked like, I don't know, a country singer who saw the color scheme of like the folklorico and thought, I want me some of that. But because of that, it just made me start to think of like, what instrument she'd play or whatever. And then I got off a rabbit trail and I ended up having this song stuck in my head that had a saxophone featured primarily in the song, not the background music of this video, pay mind, but it made me kind of want to draw like a character holding a saxophone. So that's basically the explanation behind this. Now for this third day, I admittedly had forgotten about the paperclip, left it behind, much to my detriment, and so unfortunately the wind started to win again. After all those times where it was blowing and my paperclip was able to stop it, I gained some points, but unfortunately at this point, I'm sorry guys, I lost. But because the wind kept blowing, it kept making me draw lines I didn't want onto the drawing of the dude with the saxophone, which is how we have those lines and dots that are pink on the side of his face, but it ended up sparking some patterns I put onto his clothes and his face and everything. But I started doing some final touch-ups, like adding the yellow around it to kind of make it balance out with everything else in the page. And then I moved on to the next drawing, which was of a dude. Another dude, yes, I know. This one, I did the best I could. The pose is just incorrect. It's the only way I can put it. Yeah, I don't really know if there's any person, especially not a dude, who would find themselves in that pose. I mean, I can say that there was a time when I was really, really young that I used to walk with my arms up in that same position, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, so I kept trying to go over it and fix it, and just a lot of attempts, didn't really get quite where I wanted to be with it, so I just tried to make it kind of, one of those quick sketch gesture drawings that you can point and laugh at and not feel insecure if other people point and laugh at it because you're also pointing and laughing at it, But yeah, can you see now? The purple pen. There's like this weird globby dot on it. I know the third day, but I think the second day it was acting like that as well. I'm wondering if maybe I just closed the cap on it wrong, but it's damaged now and I have to hold it in a weird position to actually get ink flowing out of it. But yeah, no biggie. So then I started touching up more of the lines with the purple pen to make it kind of darker and, just fix all the things that really bugged me, which I couldn't fully fix, but I tried. And I mean, it's not bad, it's not, but I was starting to get very frustrated. So after this, I move on to another drawing. And for this drawing, it was sort of a self-portrait, if you will. You'll typically know whenever I'm drawing myself if you see a sideways ponytail with a bow. It's the only way I know how to draw myself. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was feeling really annoyed and frustrated with my drawings at the end, so I drew myself annoyed and frustrated, but I messed up, so it made it look even weirder than I was going for, which made me even more annoyed and frustrated, so you can just see how it became a vicious circle. But it's, it's colorful, I'll give it that. I mean, look at that, vibrant. And I think when you get frustrated with drawings, it's actually important to keep going, because sometimes I'll get frustrated in the moment, but then I look back at it and I like it. But also because you're quitting on it already, you end up making bold choices, because as you can see, I just drew circles all over myself with the blue gel pen. I was just feeling brave since I no longer cared. That's the power of frustration. But yeah, I added some yellow around everything to make the whole page come together, and now you can see everything up close now that it's all good and done. And now that I've had some time to process the last few drawings, I actually do really like them a lot better than I did at the time. And it's kind of fun to look at how colorful and messy they are, but then also look at this one, which is more refined. It just kind of shows like different ways you can approach just using 5 different art supplies. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. May God bless you in your life and your art. But before you go, some highlights for your entertainment, of course. Oh, come on. Hang on a second. Is that a bug? Did you just laugh at me?